City.
Actually, that's spot on.
It is spot on.
All the competition that try to compete.
Everything is spot on.
All right, what's up, SOS Nation? We're back with another episode of My Point Exactly. I got some very special guests with me today. My guy Trey Stein, my guy John Davis. We're gonna talk a little bit of NBA, a little bit of NFL today. So let's jump straight into the topics, you guys. Our first topic today, we have a discussion between Russell Wilson, Patrick Mahomes. Right now, as you see, both of the quarterbacks are just lighting the league on fire. At this point of the season, who would you go with between Russ and Pat Mahomes?
I'll let you go first, John.
Nah, you got it, Trey.
Oh, I got it. Man,
Yeah.
this ain't no debate, dog. I think everybody be in prison at the moment. Ever since Patrick Mahomes stepped on the field 3 years ago and took over the Kansas City offense, he's been the best quarterback in football. First year, he was MVP. Should have beat the Patriots if it wasn't for D4 lining up outside. Second year, went to the Super Bowl, won the Super Bowl. Going to this year, I don't see what he hasn't done to drop down to number 2. I know Russ got like 14 touchdowns in the first 3 games. They're letting Russ cook. But if you look at the teams he played, he played a good New England team, but then he played Atlanta Falcons, who had one of the worst defenses in football. Then he played my Cowboys, who has one of the worst secondaries in football. They let people run wide open the whole game. I mean, I can throw those passes. All 5 of those touchdowns was basically wide open.
And you can't throw the pass.
Hey, man, stop hating on my cannon. Stop hating on my cannon, dog. All 5 of those touchdowns were like basically wide open touchdowns. He should have had 6, but DK Metcalf let Trayvon Diggs go down a BB on him. Then you look at Patrick Mahomes. I know they kind of struggled against the Chargers. He brought them back in the fourth quarter. On the first game of the season, he made light work of the Texans. Second game, like I said, he struggled in last night. The whole big showdown with the Baltimore Ravens. It wasn't no showdown. The game was over at halftime. He put them boys away, made Lamar Jackson look bad against Kansas City Chiefs defense, made the players look stupid by voting him number 1 last year, the best player in football, and Patrick Mahomes number 4. You see, he counted his hand 1, 2, 3, 4. He was talking trash, bro. He was putting the league on notice, man. He come back and get his crown back. And to me, I don't see Kansas City like the best team of football. They actually playing defense, and then with Pat, unless he get hurt, nobody's stopping that offense. Too many weapons.
Yeah, definitely made a lot of great points, and you never can go wrong, with Patrick Mahomes and talking about how great he is. But I honestly think the answer is Russell Wilson right here, right? And it's not just being a prisoner of the moment, what he's done the last 3 weeks. He is leading the NFL, broke the NFL record for most passing touchdowns through 3 games with 14. He's only got 1 interception. He's in complete control. Go ahead.
Who held that record before that?
Was Peyton? Was it Brady then? It was Brady, then Peyton, then Russ, right?
I thought it was Pat from his first season when he had all them touchdowns.
No. It was Pat. It was Manning, Pat, and then Russ. So Russ just broke it. Thank you for helping me with my argument, Trey.
I ain't having with nothing, man.
But yeah,
Pat said that his first year starting. No, that was his first year starting.
Yeah, but and I think like Trent Dilfer made a good point one day. I was watching, I think it was The Herd, and Trent Dilfer made a point when comparing quarterbacks, you really got to compare the situations and everything around them and what they have, right? And so when I look at what Patrick Mahomes, it's not a knock on Patrick Mahomes compared to is he a better quarterback than Russ, but I just think Patrick Mahomes is in considerably more favorable situation than Russell Wilson is. If you look at DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, those are great receivers, but I don't think they compare to Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. When you look at Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy as play callers and coaches, although Pete Carroll is a very good coach, I think Brian Schottenheimer is the offensive coordinator for Seattle. I don't think they compare it to Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy. When you look at Clyde Edwards-Helaire and what he can do out of the backfield, Chris Carson is a very good back, but I still think that I would take Clyde Edwards-Helaire over Chris Carson just because his versatility and his fluidity in that offense. So I think that Patrick Mahomes, obviously he can go down, it looks like he's on his way to being the greatest quarterback of all time, but I think Russell Wilson is doing what Patrick Mahomes is doing with less. because I don't think that DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and then after that, you just have a bunch of no names. Greg Olsen, tight end is not comparing to Travis Kelce. So the weapons and the coaching, I feel like Patrick Mahomes has a clear advantage over there in Kansas City. And then you look at what Russell Wilson has to overcome. 3 weeks into the season, each week the quarterback has gone over 400 yards of total offense. He's having to overcome this every week, and they're 3-0. Patrick Mahomes hasn't had to do that. Now, shout out to the Chiefs defense for holding Lamar Jackson, the number one player, to 97 passing yards last night. They definitely did that. And then they had the benefit of playing a rookie before that. But I think we have to give Russell Wilson credit for being 3-0 when his defense is literally giving up a touchdown every other possession. And he has to overcome that and be 3-0. We saw him throw the game-winning pass on Sunday. Even though against the Cowboys, it's still a game winner. He came back and they was down. So, all right, I think that Russell Wilson right now is doing the same thing that Patrick Mahomes is doing with less, and so I would give him the nod.
Hey, I got a question. So we said all these weapons that Patrick Mahomes had, the Travis Kelce, the Tyreek Hills, and not Clyde Edwards, he's a rookie, so he wasn't there. But they were there before he got there, right? They were good weapons. Did they win a Super Bowl before he get there?
I mean, but that's comparing Alex Smith to Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is obviously in a way different class than I think if you would have put Russell Wilson on those teams, they would have won the Super Bowl.
I'm just saying, Pat get there and he won a Super Bowl. Like they wasn't winning. Well, they were winning, but they were choking away leads and against the Colts and playoffs and stuff. He get there, they start winning.
That's the same situation that happened with the Seahawks, though. When Russell Wilson got there in his second year, they went to the Super Bowl. Before he got there, they weren't a team that was competing every year anyway. So they both transcended their teams in the same way at a young age.
Nah, it wasn't the same.
Russell Wilson wasn't winning league MVP, but he was given the same result, going to the Super Bowl as early as Patrick Mahomes went to.
That defense carried Russell to the Super Bowl. That defense, Russell, he really do nothing in the Super Bowl.
But that's not the point. That's you just made the point. You said Patrick Mahomes came in and changed the franchise in the way that Alex Smith couldn't, and I said Russell Wilson did the same thing back in 2012.
Or did beast mode in that defense change, and then Russ was able to grow into being a star. Patrick Mahomes came in and was a star off the rip. Like he is Kansas City. He is the NFL right now. This is his league. It seems like a lot of people keep on trying to put these quarterbacks and put them against Patrick. Like Lamar said it's not a rivalry with Baltimore. Like they're the Chiefs is their kryptonite. They can't beat the Chiefs. Now, Russ to me is the second best quarterback in the league, but right now I'm taking Patrick Mahomes, man. That's just me.
Yeah, I got Russ.
Y'all both made some very, very valid points. I was initially biased at the beginning. John, you kind of started to sway me your way, but I think Trey kind of pulled me back with the argument of where the Chiefs were, I guess, basically by Pat putting them over the hump. But Russ definitely has some key arguments to the point of the defense dispersed. They lost a lot of those players on that defensive side, but the Seahawks haven't, really taken a hard hit, and Russ has continued to keep them in the contender conversation. So, I mean, it's high praise to Russ, too, as we know he has a lot of milestones in his career, and we see Pat Mahomes on his way with the same.
I think, real quick, what we're kind of seeing with Russ, and I'm glad he's kind of getting the praise that he's gotten recently. But Russ is kind of like the Spurs when you think about it. Like as a starter, I don't think he's ever lost. He's never had a losing record. I want to say he's never lost less than 10 games. He might have had a couple 9-7s in there, but either way, you know what I mean. Like you put Russ on the field, you're gonna win, and he's been doing it consistently for almost a decade now. So I just give that a little more credence to what Patrick Mahomes has done, especially when I feel like Russell Wilson is doing it statistically at a higher level than Patrick Mahomes is doing it right now. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes looked effortless last night. We know what Patrick Mahomes represents. Like I said, he's on his way clearly to being the greatest quarterback of all time. But I just think that, especially the way he's throwing the deep ball. I mean, he's throwing the deep ball the same way that at the same efficiency that some people throw checkdowns and short routes. I just think right now Russell Wilson is on another level, and I give him the nod. Especially when I feel like he's working with less than Patrick Mahomes is, coaching-wise and personnel-wise.
Hey, I was watching I was on Twitter. And Kendrick Perkins had a good point about LeBron and Jordan. So you say Russ at another level, or they're at the same table ordering the same steak. And that's like Kendrick Perkins did it when he was doing LeBron and Jordan. Like everybody, they're at the same table, and it's them two and then everybody else. Or you said it's Russ and then Patrick Mahomes.
If we just talking about these 3 weeks, I think it has been that way. I mean, obviously, like I said, Patrick Mahomes had a great performance last night, so it sounds kind of weird to say that. But I do think that it's been just as far as these 3 weeks, it's kind of been Russ and then everybody else. Of course, after the last couple of years, I think it's been even. Obviously, they've been at the same table. It's kind of 1A, 1B. But I think this season, Russ is a notch above everybody at this point.
So when
just this season.
So when Patrick Mahomes gets to play the equivalent of the Atlanta Falcons secondary and the Cowboys secondary, and he throw like 13 touchdowns in 2 games, then it's gonna be Mahomes and Russ.
I don't know. We ain't done that show yet. You know, we're doing this show once a week. You know what I'm saying? So we'll have to see when that time comes.
Well, right now, both of these quarterbacks have carried their team to 3-0 victories. So we look forward to seeing what they'll have to offer as the season keeps rolling.
We thank you guys for tuning in to this week's episode. Be sure to check out more shows here on this YouTube page, such as SOS Discussions or My Point Exactly. And most of all,
keep watching Spot on Sports.
it's a new wave of sports that's sweeping the nation. We're not just accurate, it's spot on.